Okay, so I'm just going to do the introduction for World Changes Mental Health Organization. We are the founders of World Changes Mental Health Organization. So whatever that I'm going to show you right here is what we have done so far, and there's still a lot more that we're not going to be able to show here. So Richard is going to do the presentation, and I'm just going to do the introduction. So World Changes Mental Health Care Organization was established in 2018. The organization conducts seminars, workshops on mental health, leadership, and skills. It is well-knowledgeable, purpose-driven, innovative for its mental health programs and education in universities, high schools, as well as in communities. Our mission is to become the leading membership organization on matters pertaining to mental health prevention, control, management, and rehabilitation worldwide. So we are going to have a purification center, where we take care of the people that, that are on drugs and anybody that just want to purify their bodies. And our vision is to protect vulnerable members of the society worldwide against the risk of developing mental health challenges in their prospective families, as well as workplaces, and to provide quality therapy for those who are already suffering from it. So these are the programs that we've done so far. So on this day, we did spelling bees and mental health education. So we hosted about 10 schools, both primary and high school. So those are young people that were behind this program. Yes, you see, these are brilliant kids. So each school would bring their top kids to present their school, and that was really amazing. Yeah, we have about 100 kids with after school skills development after school program that we do in my community. So with these kids, we take them off the streets, and most of these kids, they come from different backgrounds. Some, they can't afford food. So when they come there, we make sure that we feed them, from our own pocket. We haven't, since we started the organization, we have been using money from our own pocket, and it's frustrating, but then we have to keep the community going. Okay, so this is Imvelo Dancing Group. They've danced on, biggest stages in South Africa. We have the football club, then art and mental health education at St. Mary's Children's Home, sanitary packs donation and mental health organization at St. Mary's Children's Home. Oh wow, so on this day we were joined by Ms. Gauteng, exclusive finalist. That's me there. And those are the kids that we donated the sanitary packs to. You also see the boys. We wanted them to know about what girls go through. So it's sometimes when you talk about PAIDS, people, they, especially us guys, we're like, no, us girls, they know about these things. We're so ashamed to talk about this. We also food parcel during COVID-19. But we're still doing this. And we've been doing this. Gender-based violence and child abuse campaign. And Daily Sun covered this day. Okay, we were privileged to be joined by the former president of Mauritius, which is Vakim. These are the programs that we did during the COVID since last year. And also the former president of Acuda, Rosalia, she's such an amazing woman. Vice president of El Salvador, which is Felix Uloa, and former president of Croatia, which is Ivan Josipovic. And yeah, in this discussion in between, I was presenting South Africa then Nigeria and Zimbabwe. There's also another one that I did with Wits University, which is called Writing Forward. We wanted to, it was a platform to give to the men to speak out what is it that they're going through, you know. So I didn't put it up there. And our partners, Peaceful Mind Foundation, Connect PIAF organization, Embo Kingdom, we did the food parcel with Embo, and Wits University, CCDU. Okay, our directory, that's me, Nigel. That's our numbers if you wanna get in touch with us. That's Richard, over there, and Nelisiwe Mkize. So that's just World Changes Mental Health Organization. And right now, I'm actually a director of a TV show. I actually developed this concept because I feel like we need to do more about mental health. So they're just gonna play a video of like few minutes, and then I can get Richard to do the presentation.
What causes someone to take their own life or the life of others? A teenager that just one day goes and shoots up the whole school, or a father that sexually and physically abuses their own child to their death. We'll be discussing these matters and much more on Gen X, Brain Matters, a show that really gets to the issues that are facing our country, and specifically our youth, a generation that is typically associated with being directionless, Generation X. Welcome. We have Wendy Duncan, child psychiatrist. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Naomi. It's good to be with you.
I think the first thing to ask is what
Thank you. So on this TV show, we are going to be bringing all the, the people that are, experienced in the field, and the people that have experienced mental health, issues, and etc. So this show is going to be playing on one of the TV stations soon. So just look out for this show. And thank you so much for giving us this platform. I'm going to invite Kenny to come forward.
Thank you so much. May we celebrate this great young man, Niger Jack. May we clap our hands to celebrate him. We are doing an amazing job on mental health, and we don't want to use one platform to do it, so we have different platforms that we want to use to reach out, because there are so many people to reach out to. There's a lot of things to work on. There's a lot of things to change on. And I'm so privileged to be here today. I want to appreciate the program management. I want to appreciate all of you that found a place in your heart to be here today. For our transformation to occur, we must come together to learn from one another and impact one another. That's how transformation in mental health transpires. And mental health is a very important thing in the society, because it gives us room to creativity, innovation. As we can see, civilization has taken place from the past decades, and right now in this realm, if we look at artificial intelligence, a lot of things are happening everywhere. Things are changing. And for us to tap into that realm, we must work on our mental well-being. Our mental well-being is extremely important to contribute to creativity, innovation, and etc. Today, I'll be dealing with mental health within the institution of high learning. But before I get to this, I first want to appreciate all the speakers, all the people that have stand here and they have shared their views, they have shared their thoughts, That's extremely amazing, and we've learned a lot from everyone that came out here and have shared their views. And right now, I just want to throw a little bit light on mental health. We can't really talk about mental health without comprehending or having a great understanding about what mental health is all about. First, to talk about mental health has to do with the psychological and physical well-being of an individual. And you cannot talk about psychological and physical well-being of an individual without understanding who is that individual. What is a man? Who is a man? You cannot talk about, this is the core of mental health. What I'm about to share with you now is the core of mental health. You can talk about mental health without understanding who is a man. A man possesses what we call spirit, soul, and body. A man possesses spirit, soul, and body. You cannot talk about mental disorder or mental departure from rational thinking. We call it mental aberration. You cannot depart from rational thinking, and you cannot have a mental well-being without considering these three things, because they play a very important role. The spirit man is a very strong thing that we neglect when we talk about mental health, but it's very, very deep. It's very vital. The spirit man contributes to mental aberrations and our mental well-being. It contributes. The soul, which is a compartment that harbors our thoughts, our emotions, and our will. These are very strong things when you talk about mental health. You can't talk about mental health without talking about emotions. You can't talk about mental health without talking about thoughts, thinking, our mind. You can't talk about mental health without acknowledging that every human being has a will. You have a will to make decisions. You have a will to decide what you want. And the one that I want to focus today is the mind, our thoughts. Our thoughts is plays a very vital role when it comes to mental health. For you to depart from rational thinking, it happens in your mind. These are thoughts. For you to depart from rational thinking. What causes a man to depart from rational thinking to irrational thinking? What causes a man to make a decision to commit suicide? These are the things that happens in the mind, in the thoughts. The mind of every individual possesses two things. You have what you call subconscious mind and what you call conscious mind. These are two vital, these two things, part of mind plays a very vital role. The subconscious mind is that part of the mind that stores all the positive and negative memories. Your subconscious mind, it has compartment that stores every positive and negative memories. And these memories, the whole memories that start even from your birth, before you were born, even when you are in the stomach. When a baby is in the stomach, the baby has the ability, even the cell in the body has the ability to store memories. So the baby in the womb also have the ability to store memories, both positive and negative memories. Let's say a woman that is pregnant is mentally abused or is being mentally abused. It's going to affect that baby. Why? Because the baby has a memory. The baby has a memory. It has a subconscious mind that stores everything happening within that environment. I wouldn't dwell so much on this because I have other things. I just have to rush because of time. But this is a very important aspect of mental health that we need to deal with. When you talk about the spirit of a man, we all possess a spirit. We have the religion. Every religion plays a very vital role when it comes to mental health. Every human being has a religion, has something higher power that they relate with. And we have presiding elders that helps these individuals to relate to this religious aspect of their life. The type of words and the type of information that is being transformed through these presiding elders also contributes to what we get in the environment, in the society. We talk about the high institution. The whole high institution is populated with different religious people, different people that has faith and believe in different things. How do we inculcate mental health in our religious institution to curate a balance or to strike a balance between religion and mental health? You cannot talk about religion without understanding mental health. Why? Because the mind, every human being possesses a mind. And there's a way the mind functions. The spiritual heads need to understand. It's a very important thing that the spiritual heads need to comprehend how the mind functions. It helps them so that in their daily activities or how they convey their messages, they have to structure it the way the mind will be fed to be physically, psychologically well. Okay, right now I just want to get to what I have to do because I don't have a lot of time, so I have to rush it. Mental health within the institutions of high learning is a very important thing because here we talk about what is mental health. Mental health is described as the well-being of or an absence of a mental disorder. When you can think properly, you'll be able to be curative. When you can think properly, when you have not departed from rational thinking to irrational thinking, you'll be able to maximize the potentials within you and potentials within your environment. So this is one of the definitions of mental health. So many scholars have defined mental health in different forms. But just to break it down, mental health is just the state of well-being of an individual. And for you to be in a well-being state, your mind has to possess some specific qualities in order to be able to remain in this state of mental well-being. For instance, the mind has a lot to do with emotion. The thoughts has a lot to do with words. And every word controls emotion. Every word that we release has a force that directs our emotion. For instance, if I begin to tell you beautiful things, nice things, positive things now, it changes your emotion to be happy or to feel good. These are words that comes out from a thought. It controls your emotion. You feel good. So for you to stay in this state of well-being, mental well-being, you have to understand how to control your emotions. If you can't control your emotions carries some forces. Depends on the memory on that emotion. It carries some forces that can overpower you to either depart from rational thinking to irrational thinking. Okay, I'm rushing, so I just have to move fast. Mental health problems. What are the problems of mental health? There are a lot of problems of mental health, but the unique ones that we identify is depression, anxiety, and we have bipolar disorder, and another one that is schizophrenia. Okay, let me just deal a little bit with depression. Depression has to do with images that creates worry, images that threatens a human being. Fear. There's no fear without image in the mind. There's no fear without a memory that has been stored in the mind. Okay, let me just break it down a little bit. I spoke about the subconsciousness of a man, how the subconscious mind harbors or stores negative memories and positive memory. For instance, let's say when a child is in the stomach, still developing, a woman, the mother was abused through verbal, emotional words, like a man telling the wife, "You are stupid." Now, the memory of this child is going to store that word, stupid. The mother of this baby, when she received that word, there's some impulses, negative force, that create a negative force and makes her to feel sad. That will also affect the baby. The sadness that happens in the body of this woman will also affect the baby. When this baby grows, and somebody maybe could be talking in the environment saying, the people in the environment are stupid, because that thing has been stored in the memory of that baby, is going to re-stimulate. It serves as a re-stimulation. And you can find this baby responding, this man or young child now, responding to the stimulation of something that has been stored in the subconscious mind. This is the core of mental health. We can't talk about mental health without these things. We can't, because we'll be talking about something we don't understand and we don't know how to deal with it. But if we can deal with this to understand the roots and the core of how the mind or how a man departs from rational thinking or appropriate thinking to inappropriate thinking, that will really help us to identify the factors, which I mentioned that words are very powerful factors. Words are image and words are very powerful factors, because what it does is it creates memory in the mind. It can be a positive memory, it can be a negative memory. When it's a positive memory, it brings out the best in that person. When it's a negative memory, it brings out the bad things in that person. Now, these two memories are harbored in the subconscious mind of every individual. There are activities in the environment that re-stimulate what has been stored in the mind. That's when now we have to learn how to control our emotions. And we cannot control our emotion without learning the truth about us. And learning the truth about us is making us to understand that every human being has spirit, you have soul, and you have body. And what transpires in the spirit affects the soul, and it affects the body. Okay, just to move a little bit fast, we talk about depression. Depression happens because of the memories, images in the mind. The images in the mind, when it's re-stimulated, it causes an individual to feel sad. When it's a negative memory, it causes the individual to feel sad. And when you feel sad and you ponder on that memory, it brings you to the realm of depression. Now we talk about anxiety. Anxiety has a lot to do with worries. You're worrying about problems. And when you worry about problems, it brings fear. And that fear, when you develop from that fear, it brings you to the realm that you depart from rational thoughts. And when you depart from rational thoughts, you'll be willing to do anything. And that realm, anxiety has kicked in. And we talk about schizophrenia, which has to deal with a long-time mental health disorder. A long-time mental health disorder that affects our thinking and our emotions. It's a long-time mental health disorder that affects our thinking and our emotions. Our thinking helps us in creativity. So if our thinking is affected, we won't be able to be creative enough or innovative enough. The world can be changed through great creativity. We saw what Nigel presented, that what Changers is doing, that was because there was a great thinking, a great creativity gave birth to these different things, activities that we see. But when the mind is not functioning in that realm, you won't be able to maximize the potentials that you have inside of you. Every individual in this place is super intelligent. Every individual in this place has great creativity. But for you to bring out or utilize those creativity, mental health is a very important aspect. Now we talk about bipolar, which is a swing of emotions. That's also one of the problems. Because of time, I just have to rush. Oh, okay, we talk about mental health illnesses. There's a very important aspect of mental health illness that is not here, but I'm going to mention it. The mind can make the body sick. It's very crucial to understand this. The mind can make the body sick. Let me give you an instance. If you have a specific memory in your mind, if you have a specific memory, let me say, of a food that you ate when you were tender, and it causes your body, it makes you sick. Sickness is a physical pain. There are emotional pains and there are physical pains, and all these things are stored in the mind. So if you have a specific memory of what happened when you were 5 years old, you ate a specific, let me say you ate an egg, and it made you sick. Now you stop eating egg. If somebody brings that egg when you are 15 years old, that egg serves as a re-stimulation. The smell of the egg, the look of the egg, it brings back a memory that has been stored since you're 5 years old. That alone serves as the mind making your body sick. You're going to feel the same sickness that you felt when you were 5 years. Those things are stored in the mind. So that's one of the mental health illnesses as well. We talk about mental illness as a stigma. As a stigma, it is defined as a sign of disgrace or discredit, which sets a person apart from others. Mental health stigma is a very dangerous thing, and it harbors in two things: image and words. Image depicts an action that transpires either in the past or in the present that has some specific word, and that word always comes up to remind you of a specific thing, that maybe you're not valuable, that you're ugly, that you're this, and it gives you some image, ugly image that you don't like. Now it creates a negative stigma. And just because of time, okay, expressions of stigmas. These are expressions of stigmas, what stigmas can bring to you or isolate a human being to. Mental health and students. Let's talk about mental health and students. Since we're dealing with mental health in the higher institution, mental health and students, it's very pivotal to note that for students to do well in school, their mental well-being has to be optimal. It has to be extremely optimal, and it's very vital for us to prepare the students mentally for them to be able to fix the challenges they encounter in the environment, in the study environment. Life has challenges. There is nothing we can do in life to remove challenges in life. There is nothing, absolutely nothing. And most of the times in that challenges is when we are made strong. It's in that challenge that the best of us comes out. But for that to happen, we have to be prepared. The mind has to be prepared. Our mental, psychological, and physical well-being has to be prepared to adjust to these challenges that we're going to see in our environment, in our study environment, within our friends, within our lecturers, within the study. Just to study alone has a whole lot of challenges. To study, there's a whole lot of challenges that comes from studying. So for you to defeat that, you must have a very strong mental acumen or well-being to do that. Let's look at, let's look at the psychological signs and symptoms of mental disorder. Psychological signs, these are the signs that when you see in an individual, you know this person needs help. One of the psychological signs is feeling sad or down. When somebody feels sad or down, that's a departure from rational thinking. The person has departed from thinking right to focusing on a specific thought, which brings up by a specific image or word. So the person will start to ponder on the wrong, negative things instead of the positive. Confusion, confused thinking. When you want to make a decision and you're not able to make a proper decision. Decision making in life is a very important thing because it helps. A good decision takes you up, but a bad decision takes you down. One bad decision can delay you for about 5 years, 8 years. So decision making is a very important thing. So when you're confused in your thinking, you won't be able to make a good decision. So this is a very important aspect of it. Excessive fear and worry, that's what gives birth to anxiety. When fear is not a bad thing, I want to say this, fear is not a bad thing. Let me explain it. For instance, if I put my hands in a fire, that fire is going to burn my hands. So the fear of putting my hands in a fire could serve as a deterrent for my survival. It can serve as a deterrent for my survival. But when that fear is excessive or there's excessive worry, that can now lead to anxiety. Withdraw from friends and family. You see some people, they don't want to associate with people. They just want to be alone. That's a sign. Problems, having problems in sleeping. Sleeping helps the body a lot. Sleeping contributes to the development, the growth of the body, the well-being of the body. I was doing some research about resting, sleeping. Professional people always say that when you sleep 8 hours, 6 to 7 or 8 hours, that your body will be fine. But according to the research that I did, it's not about the hours. It's about finding out the specific moments that you need to sleep. For instance, some people are very good in working at night. Then when you sleep, when you have some couple of hours to sleep in the morning, if it is that time that suits your body, it gives your body exactly what you want. So it's not about the hour, but it's you finding out what time do you need to rest. So having problem in sleeping or resting is one of the signs. And detachment from reality of hallucination and inability to cope with daily stress. Life has stress and problems that we need to challenges. Alcohol and drugs, abuse, suicidal thoughts. We have a lot of speakers that came here as pondered on this and deliberate on this. Significant change in eating habits. Your nutrition, your nutrients also determines how psychological and physically you'll be well. Excessive anger, hostility, and violence. I'll be rushing just because of time. Physical signs. These are the first one I mentioned was the psychological sign. Now these are the physical signs. Fatigue. You know, you feel fatigue. Back pain, chest pain, digestive problem. Your food cannot digest properly. These are the signs. Dry mouth, headache, acute headache, sweating, weight gain or loss, rapid heat rate. All these are the signs. Because of time, I just have to rush. The importance of mental health education at the high institutions and learning. Who can tell me one of the importance of mental health? Who can tell me one of the importance of mental health in high institution learning? Can we have some interactive, just briefly? Who can tell me one of it? Anybody? Anybody? Okay. All right. So in our institution, mental health is a very vital thing. Like I mentioned before, that failure, good decision making failure, for us to be skillful, for us to be innovative, we have to possess this quality. We have to be in rational thinking. We have to have a very good mental health in order to do this. For us to pass our exams, for us to be able to deal with challenges within the facility, within the environment, within the study environment, we have to be on a very good mental state. If not, we would depart from rational thinking, and when you depart from rational thoughts, it will lead to failure, it will lead to suicide, it will lead to depression, it will lead to anxiety, it will lead for you to start departing, isolating yourself from the crowd. I want to say this. The crowd or people bring success. For you to be able to relate with people in life, bring success to your life. It brings huge success to your life. If you are that kind of person that you don't want to communicate or relate with people, you don't know what you're missing. I know it comes with a lot of challenge, but we have to learn how to defeat that challenge. Because it's when we come together that we're able to do wonderful things, amazing things. So it's extremely important for us to learn how to associate with people, not to isolate ourselves from people, irrespective of the challenges. All right. The solutions. All right, these are the solutions. In the campus, these are the solutions that we have, provided more than one qualified therapist. I was listening to the doctor that spoke to us before, and she mentioned the statistics of the personnel that are dealing with mental health. And I find out that we have a huge problem because these personnel are not able to attain to our population. They will not be able to do that. So it's absolutely crucial that we have to have a different approach to it so that we'll be able to satisfy each individual within our environment, within our families, and within our society. Because of time, I just want to keep the time. Okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak about this topic, mental health. I thank all of you for the opportunity to listen. I think right now we can take the questions.
All right. So in just closing, we just need a minute to do something.
All right.
Yeah, boy, it's just a minute. It's just a minute. It's just a minute. All right. So I've got a question for you guys. How heavy is this glass of water? I think some of you have heard this before. How heavy is this glass of water? Do you mind to answer? Some would say 8 ounces, some would say 10 ounces. However, the absolute weight of this glass doesn't matter. It depends on how long I hold on to this glass. If I hold on to this glass for a minute, nothing happens. If I hold on for an hour, my arm will start to hurt. If I hold this glass the whole day, my arm will start to feel hurt and paralyzed. Well, the weight of this glass hasn't changed, but the longer I hold on to this, the heavier it becomes. The stresses and the worries of life are like this glass of water. If you think about them for a little bit longer, for a minute, for a minute, nothing happens. If you think about them for an hour, you start, all that you're thinking about will start hitting you. If you think about them all day long, you start feeling numb, and paralyzed, incapable of doing anything. Always remember, put the glass down. Okay, thank you.